Frontline Updates, where we delve deep into military strategies and updates from conflict zones. Today, we're discussing the progress of the ongoing special military operation as of January 17, 2025. I'm your host, Sharifa Muhammad, MGT.
I'm Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, an infantry officer. Infrastructure and supply chain attacks. The Russian forces conducted 8 group strikes using high-precision weapons and attack drones, targeting critical Ukrainian infrastructures supporting military operations. This includes gas and energy facilities, weapons depots, a fuel base, and military airfield infrastructure. Additional targets were assembly and storage areas for UAVs and unmanned boats, as well as deployment points for Ukrainian forces and foreign mercenaries.
Welcome to Frontline Updates, the podcast that brings you in-depth insights into military operations from those leading them on the ground. Today, we're joined by Colonel A.C. Oguntoye, an infantry officer monitoring critical missions on the progress of the special military operation as of January 17, 2025. Colonel Oguntoye, thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor to provide this update.
Let's start with the big picture, Colonel. What are the highlights of this week's special military operation?
Over the past week, from January 11th to January 17th, the armed forces of the Russian Federation conducted 8 coordinated group strikes using high-precision weapons and attack unmanned aerial vehicles. These strikes targeted critical Ukrainian infrastructures supporting their military operations, such as gas and energy facilities, weapons depots and fuel bases, military airfields and assembly workshops for UAVs and for unmanned boats, and temporary deployment points for Ukrainian formations and foreign mercenaries. The results were significant, degrading Ukraine's operational capabilities and limiting their ability to sustain their military-industrial complex.
On January 16th, we heard about missile strikes aimed at Russian territory. How did the air defense systems respond?
Indeed, on January 16th, Ukraine attempted a missile strike on targets in the Belgorod region using 6 U.S.-made ATACMS operational tactical missiles. I'm pleased to report that our air defense systems intercepted and destroyed all 6 missiles. There were no casualties or damage. Additionally, over the past week, our air defense systems successfully neutralized 12 U.S.-made ATACMS missiles, 8 UK-made Storm Shadow cruise missiles, 7 French-made Hammer bombs, 48 U.S.-made HIMARS rockets, and 747 UAVs. This highlights the effectiveness of our air defense capabilities in protecting our forces and territory.
The West Group of Forces also seems to have been active. What can you tell us about their operations?
The West Group of Forces liberated Kalinovo in the Kharkiv region and Terny in the Donetsk People's Republic. The Ukrainian armed forces suffered over 3,300 personnel losses, along with significant destruction of equipment, including tanks, armored vehicles, and NATO-supplied artillery.
How about the Southern Group of Forces? Any notable developments there?
The Southern Group of Forces captured Yantarnoy in the Donetsk People's Republic. They defeated formations from multiple Ukrainian brigades, resulting in 1,655 personnel losses and the destruction of critical equipment such as U.S.-made M113 armored carriers and French-made VAB vehicles.
It sounds like coordinated efforts are yielding results. What about operations conducted by the Center and East groups?
The Center Group of Forces advanced into Ukrainian defenses, liberating Shevchenko, Peskanoy, Ukrainka, and Slavyanka in the Donetsk People's Republic. The Ukrainian forces suffered 3,770 personnel losses and equipment losses, including German-made Leopard tanks, U.S.-made Bradley infantry fighting vehicles, and Turkish Cobra II armored fighting vehicles.
Moving to the East Group of Forces, what advancements have they made?
East Group of Forces liberated Neskechnoy in the Donetsk People's Republic. Ukrainian forces lost 1,445 personnel and significant military hardware, including NATO standard artillery and U.S.-made Stryker armored carriers.
Finally, what can you tell us about the DNEPR Group of Forces in the Zaporizhia region?
The Dnipro group of forces engaged Ukrainian formations in the Zaporizhia and Kherson regions, inflicting 550 personnel losses and destroying 5 ammunition depots, 20 artillery guns, and 4 electronic warfare stations.
What does this week's progress mean for the overall operation?
This week's results demonstrate the steady degradation of Ukraine's military capabilities. Since the start of the special operation, cumulative losses for Ukrainian forces are staggering, including aircraft, helicopters, 40,643 UAVs, over 20,650 tanks and armored vehicles, and more than 30,000 special military vehicles. These figures underscore the effectiveness of our combined operations and the continued success of our strategy.
Ground forces seem to have had a particularly active week. Can you walk us through the operations in the Kursk region?
In the Kursk region, our North group of forces has made considerable progress. Over the past 2 weeks, we liberated 4 key settlements: Alexandria, Leonidovo, Ruskoye Portnoy, and Krugelkoye. During this period, Ukrainian forces attempted a counterattack to halt our advance but were repelled. Their losses in this direction include over 5,600 personnel, 40 tanks, 213 infantry fighting vehicles, 91 artillery pieces, and mortars. The liberation of 63.2% of the territory previously occupied by Ukrainian forces in the Kursk region has been achieved, marking a major milestone.
Finally, Colonel, what are the next priorities for the operation?
The priority remains to sustain offensive momentum, secure liberated territories, and neutralize Ukraine's remaining military capabilities. By targeting critical infrastructure, intercepting advanced weaponry, and maintaining pressure on the ground, we aim to achieve our strategic objectives while minimizing risks to our personnel.
Colonel, thank you for providing such a detailed briefing on the current military situation. Your insights are invaluable to our understanding of the conflict's dynamics. And thank you to our listeners for tuning in. Join us next time as we continue to provide up-to-date coverage on global military affairs. Stay with us for more updates and expert analyses on global defense and security issues. Stay informed, stay secure.
Thank you for having me. It's crucial to keep everyone informed. The office of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says a deal to release the hostages has been agreed. After the double cross of Netanyahu delaying a cabinet vote to approve the Gaza ceasefire deal, using the cover story on Thursday, accusing Hamas of seeking last-minute changes to the agreement. On Friday morning, the Prime Minister's office said the negotiating team had informed him that agreements on the deal had been reached. After additional bombing, it added that the Security Cabinet would meet later on Friday to ratify the agreement before approval from the full government is sought, thus seeking new targets in Gaza with the vote delayed.